Hey y'all, it's Kat from Kat Southern Charms. We're back with our next little piece. I've already poured my clear part, and we're working with rice paper. Isn't she beautiful, y'all? I love this. So what the plan is I'm gonna pour a background color. I've got my clear, so once the backing cures, I'm gonna take it out, and then I'm gonna attach this rice paper to the front using some high gloss varnish. I'm going to attach that, and then I'm going to pour a very thin layer of resin to lock it in. So we're going to see how this works. It's my first time working with it. We're going to use this gorgeous blue. Remember, we're going to have a clear layer between it. So I think that's going to be very complimentary. What do you think? Leave me a comment below. I have my resin poured to mix my blue mica in. It's just a sky blue, and I'm gonna add some of the Chameleon powder to go in there too, the teal. That's what I did with this background color. It turned out perfect. So that's what we're working on. Stay tuned for the finished project. See you next time. Make sure you do all the YouTubey things. Give this a quick thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. And ding that bell so you don't miss when this completed project gets uploaded. Until next time, y'all, happy arting. Ta-ta for now. Hey y'all, we're back. First, let me show you. I pulled our piece out. I did this background color, and we did the front in clear. You can see on the sides we have our clear layer and we have our background color. Now our next step for this is going to be adding our rice paper cutout. And I'm gonna use the high gloss varnish. This is the first time working with rice paper, and I want to try it this way first. I'm going to put a little varnish on my piece, place my rice paper where I want it, seal it with the varnish on top. I'm gonna let that cure and dry, and then I'm gonna come back and put a very thin layer of resin over it to lock it all in place. So first things first, and I have a little paintbrush. It's soft bristles. It's not gonna scratch or rip the paper, but I want to put a thin layer of varnish down. And if anything goes over the side or any of that, I'll be able to wipe it up. But this is gonna dry clear. I just want a thin layer. And I wanna put this down on this varnish, like so. Then I'm just gonna paint over it. Very thin layer. Have y'all worked with rice paper before? This is my first time working with it. So we're gonna see how this does. Gotta be careful because I don't want to rip this. And you can see how it's soaking up. And I thought this was going to be different since I put it on clear, but apparently not. So I'm just going to do my corners, and I'm not going to cover. So I'm going to do the outside so resin can't get up underneath it. Okay, so we're just going to secure the edges down so no resin can get underneath this rice paper. And we're gonna see what happens. This is the first time, y'all. So I think after doing this, I'm gonna use a spray acrylic for my next one. I have a bunch of these. So like I said, this is an experiment. We're gonna try this way. So we're gonna let that dry like so. You see how it's soaked up some of that varnish? This is what I mean about very thin layer. So I'm not gonna use this method anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and pour resin in this and see what happens. But the next one I use, I'm gonna take, I know you've seen my acrylic spray that I use on my alcohol ink coasters, where I do the abstract designs to lock in that alcohol ink so it doesn't fade. I'm gonna use that next time for the next one I attempt. So the thing about using a spray sealant is you don't want to be close to your piece because you're gonna get too much there. You really just want to mist it over. So you hold your can further away and just mist it. Let that dry, a little thin layer, and you may need to do 2 or 3, but far away, just misting over it. So it's gonna maintain all of its detail and not get soaked in like this varnish is doing. So we're gonna leave that sit and dry. And we come back, we're gonna pour a thin layer of resin just to lock it in. Oop, don't want that there. There we go. Just to lock it in place and hold it, and we'll see what our final piece looks like. Right now, I mean, I'm not upset with that because it looks like it's antiqued or worn. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm not too upset with how this turned out. Like I said, it's all an experiment. I wanted to see how it worked. I have my answer. Varnish is out. So we're gonna let this cure, dry, set. Then I'm gonna pour a thin layer of resin, let that cure. When we come back, we're gonna look at our finished results. And I will have another one prepared so we can go into the spray sealant one. Grab a drink, y'all. Go give us a like real quick if you haven't already. That allows other people to find us. But for you, it'll be a second. For me, it's gonna be a little longer. I'll see you then. Hey y'all, it's Cat with Cat Southern Charms, back with a final result from this rice paper experiment we've been doing. You can see this was a huge fail. The rice paper soaked up the varnish and it soaked up even more when we poured this top layer of resin. So varnish is out. That is a huge fail. I talked about using an acrylic spray to test that, but I've come to the conclusion the best way to protect it is lamination. Laminating these pieces of rice paper before you add them into resin is going to give you my brain just died. It's going to give you the result that you're looking for without damaging or soaking up resin or any liquid into the rice paper itself. And you still get this beautiful image that we're really striving for. That's what we want in this. And I'll put it down. That's the result that we want. Over, instead of that, laminating is going to give us this result. So that is my final conclusion to this rice paper test. You can use a laminator. You can get cold laminate where you don't have to have that heat element for it to laminate. And you just use a spreader or, gosh, I don't have one nearby, a stick to make sure that this is completely sealed so no resin's going to leak in, and you make sure all the bubbles or air pockets are removed. So that is a way you can use cold laminate, but this is the final verdict. The best way to deal with rice paper is laminate it. Then you'll get a beautiful effect. We're going to take this laminated piece and we're going to redo this coaster. Anyway, stay tuned for the results. This is the last piece to the puzzle for dealing with rice paper. Until next time, y'all, happy yarning. Ta-ta for now.